Have you ever felt like that you weren't just the part of internet? Like you were scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. You saw people, but you did not see you because there was no one representing you. I got my first internet access when I was around 12 or 13 years old. That is back in 2015 or 16. And I remember watching YouTube since that was the first platform I ever used with the internet I got. And I remember not watching a single Desi Brown YouTuber. Maybe the algorithm didn't push it to me, I don't know why, but I remember for a year or so I had not seen anyone who looked like me or who talked about things of my culture. And I thought it as a kid, I didn't mind it because I had no thoughts back then. But now as I think about it, I wonder why was it so? Why weren't there a lot of brown people earlier? And how right now there has been this huge surge in people taking interest in Indian culture, brown weddings, attire, and how suddenly we have become an aesthetic. So today I'm going to do a deep dive into this topic and let's discuss that what changed and how it's going to be from here on. So back in 2008, I had no internet access, and it's quite good because obviously I was around 4 or 5 years old. So I had no idea how the Tumblr looked like back then, what were the things popular on it, and what was trending, what people liked. My real internet life started when I was 12 or 13, and even then, the Wi Fi was slow. Let's forget about Wi Fi, there was no Wi Fi. I just had net, which was put into my mom's phone, and then it was used to be like 1 GB for a whole month or 2 months, and then we had to use that only. So think about it, now people exhaust around 3 4 GB data a day, and back then you just had 1 GB and you had to use it for a month or 2 months, 3 months, whatever the plan was. So yeah, internet was slow and very limited. It was not widespread, not everyone had internet access, surely not people living in remote areas. So there was not a lot of people posting online. There weren't a lot of Indian influencers or content creators. So the first ever people who actually started representing us, they weren't actually living in India. They were generally brown people who were living abroad. They used to put desi makeup tutorials, making joke about brown parents or explaining Indian food to the rest of the world. And I'm not taking anything away from them because obviously they opened the doors for us. But here's the thing, it felt like they were the more acceptable version of us, if you understand what I'm saying. Their accents were easier to understand, their lightning was better, and their content was more relatable to non Indians, and that made them more visible. But that brings the question, what about the kids living in India? What about us? What about our voice? Now, what made all of this actually worse was that we were invisible, but our culture wasn't. People were using mehendi and calling it henna tattoos. People were using bindis and wearing it as a costume in Coachella. Everyone danced to Bollywood songs in the weddings while they weren't even connected to it, which made us wonder, what about us? Isn't that ours? And here's the thing, the problem isn't that they were using it. It's good they were using it. Obviously, it's giving more exposure to Indian things to outside world. But the main problem was that they weren't giving credit. And that is what people call as culture appropriation these days. So the problem wasn't that they were using our things. The problem was that they weren't giving us credits. They were turning our roots into trends. Think about it. During COVID, you must remember how turmeric milk that we all used to drink since our childhood suddenly became turmeric latte, and like everyone was drinking it. Yoga was taken away from us and commercialized into something which could be sold to West. Its soul wasn't there. It was just a commodity which the West were buying. Now I believe that one of the major shifts for people in India Internet wise was when we got free access to it. That was back in 2016 or 17, I remember, when Jio launched free SIMs for people and it used to provide 1 GB data a day. Think about it, from getting 1 GB data for 1 month, 2 months to suddenly getting it a day. A lot of creators came around that time. I remember watching mostly Sane. I think she came around that time, and there were many more YouTubers. So I believe that it could be taken as an internet revolution for our country. People from remote areas now also got access to internet. So it suddenly wasn't exclusive to rich people. Everyone had internet access. Now everyone can post on internet and make their voices heard. This made our official debut on internet, and things after that started changing. Slowly but surely, we started speaking for our own culture. And maybe it's because we started showing up more, or maybe the algorithm started noticing us. But suddenly, our fashions, our bangles, our bindi, jhumkas, they weren't outdated, they were editorial. People started using desi as an aesthetic. And honestly, it was kind of confusing at first, because now are we actually being represented or heard, or are we being used again? But here's where it gets interesting. For once, it wasn't just us seeing it from outside. We were the ones who were creating it, curating it, owning it. Now, what I love about now is that we are not hiding anymore. I see Indian creators, like actual Indian creators based in India, showing off their culture, their food, their language, their heritage without trying to water it down. And we are not pretending to be Western anymore. This was such a huge issue. People were actually started to westernize themselves, like saris and kurtas and all those things were just left for festivals, occasions, or weddings. But now we wear it whenever we want. We don't need a wedding as a reason for us to wear our culture. I see girls wearing beautiful kurtas, jhumkas, wear bindi on a regular basis. We are wearing our mom's jewelry with pride. We are making reels in our regional languages. And we are talking about caste, gender, and all the things that really matter on the internet. So the aesthetic thing might have opened the door, but we are actually building a house out of it. For so damn long, we have been chasing the Western validation. We thought being modern meant being less loud, less colorful, less traditional. But now it feels like that we have finally realized that we don't actually need to choose. We can wear a sari and sneakers. We can listen to Arijit Singh and Ed Sheeran. We can speak Hindi and English in the same language. We are not trying to fit in anymore. We are actually creating space for ourselves. We are not putting ourselves in a box. And most importantly, we are doing it for us, not for the likes. So yeah, we were invisible once. We watched our culture watered down, borrowed, and even mocked sometimes. But now we are here to take the lead, not just as trend, not just as aesthetic, but as people. Complex, created, and deeply rooted. And you know what the best part is? There's more of us every day. Each day I see more and more people talking about us, talking about our culture, representing us, and that just makes me so happy. So whether you are in a small town in India or somewhere abroad, just remember this. No one owns internet. It belongs to everyone, and now it's ours too, and we are just getting started. So if you have ever felt invisible online, just know that you are not alone. Your story matters, your voice matters, and believe me, someone out there is waiting for you to hear your story. So speak up, be seen, and be unapologetically brown. So this is it for the video. This is what I wanted to talk about. If you liked it, you can share your thoughts in the comments. I would love to read them all. And stay safe, stay you. I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.